The chapter continues with Yuto's coach telling the reporters that it's been 10 years since she's been training Yuto. First, the surest and simplest way to make someone strong is to upbuild their body. The harder you train, the stronger you become. Yuto ran 6 miles as soon as he got out of bed, then did 2,000 sit-ups and then 1,000 push-ups a day besides other various exercises that boxers consistently do daily. For Yuto to have any chance of winning a boxing match, he would have to charge at his opponent relentlessly with a body of steel. The coach then explains the levels of effort and what talent is. At first you start with a blank slate, so you'll see growth from day to day. The highest point here is the uppermost limit of a human being's growth, and after that in sports, there is a period of rapid decline. Right about here is champion level, and right about here is pro debut level. But Yuto's was very below the minimum required for at least a pro boxer, let alone a champion. Impossible, the reporter said. He found it hard to believe because Yuto Takeda is the strongest infighter of his division. It's all because something happened one day. He showed up in a hospital gown, soaking wet from the rain, and from that day on, something changed in him. Everything changed. A flashback shows Yuto back in his school days, seeing a kid being picked on by a bully. Yuto Takeda with no hesitation stopped and grabbed the bully, saying, "Don't bully others," like the alpha male he is. Everyone in the classroom was probably thinking the same thing. That's someone who'd say that in real life actually exists. "What the heck?" said the bully. As he tried to move his hand, he realized that Yuto's grip was so strong that he couldn't move it. Yuto Takeda has been famous since middle school. They call him the hero of justice. As they heard him, everyone was thinking the same thing. Honestly, he's pretty damn cool. The bully then got angry and punched him, saying, "Did you think I was a wuss? Don't you know who I am?" As the bully was out of breath punching Yuto, he suddenly replied, "Are you done? If you are, don't do that again, and let's all try to get along for the year." The bully, stunned by what he said to him, now humiliated, angrily left the classroom. Their school day ended and some of his classmates were talking outside, saying that it was disappointing that he didn't fight back, but that's why he's cool. He doesn't beat up weaker guys. The bully goes on again, picking on the kid from earlier. Not done with him, then Yuto sees this again and intervenes. "Stop it," he said. "What do you gain from beating up your friends?" The bully replied, "You pick on someone because they're just a skin for it. 'Cause it's fun." Then rushed to Yuto, trying to punch him again. Nowadays, the power of effort tends to be underestimated. Yuto then lands a huge blow, flipping the opponent backwards. No matter how talented someone is, the difference between someone who's put in an extraordinary amount of effort and someone who hasn't is like night and day. Saving the kid who was getting bullied, he looked up to Yuto as he said heroes really exist. As they now walk home together, the kid says that he's never seen anyone as strong as him. Yuto then replied humbly, saying that there are plenty more stronger people other than him and he just trains a lot. Then he brings him to his boxing gym, wanting to get stronger. The day ends and the kid, talking to himself, says Yuto was pretty cool and wonders if he can change too. No one gets to choose their abilities or their living environment when they're born. The next scene shows the bully earlier meeting up with his gang and saying why he got beat up and that they have a new guy, a recruit, training to be a world champion boxer. This new guy was called Knight Errant and he was strong enough to take down an entire gang all on his own, total annihilation, only wanting to fight strong guys. He then asked the bully if the guy he fought with was strong. He then lures Yuto to face this monster by using Yuto's new friend as bait to lure him. This made Yuto mad and of course he'd come after him. He guessed he could call him the antihero. When Yuto arrived, he let the hostage go as he only wanted to fight Yuto, but this challenger was way too strong for him and every time he faced him he was knocked down. Yuto doesn't know the meaning of giving up and says he doesn't care if it takes 1,000,000 years or even 1,000,000,000 years until he beats him. Yuto then goes back to his coach, saying that he doesn't think he can beat him like this and wants to quit school and focus only on boxing, wanting to prove to his friend that with effort anything is possible. The coach then gave him the go signal and said he had her full support and to give it his best shot. Yuto now focused purely on training and becoming a better boxer, training every day without a miss. Then after he trains, he challenges the anti-hero who is far stronger than him and loses. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and about when he reached the point when it was difficult to count how many times he tried and lost. As everything now feels like a dream to Yuto, always training and following the coach's orders, the coach is now shocked at his performance. The coach said that his growth peak has finally exceeded it. But it didn't stop there. More and more he trained, and his growth peak grew even more. After all the dizzying effort, countless defeats, and frustrations, Superman was finally born. Now back to the present. Asked by a reporter what boxing is to him, he replied that it was proof. Proof that no matter how difficult your circumstances, no matter how deep the sorrow or pain you face, you should never give up, because there's always hope. Through boxing, I'm going to prove that there's always hope. It's now the day of the junior welterweight world title match, Yuto Takeda versus you. As the crowd goes wild, has there ever been a boxer like this in the history of boxing? It's the boxer with never-before-seen talent, lightweight world champion you. And on the other side now enters the champion, the strongest infighter there is, Yuto Takeda. The one who has conquered the junior welterweight division. His boxing is a story of hope and triumph. Can he defend his title from his strongest opponent yet? The epitome of natural talent versus the epitome of hard work. Everybody is at the end of their seats, excited for the match to start. The referee now rings the bell to start the match. With no time to waste, Yuto Takeda rushed forward, charging into you, closes in fiercely from the very start. Yu is trying to get some space, but Yuto won't let him be and keeps on pressuring. But then unexpectedly Yu stopped running and planted his stance, leaving the champion in shock as Yu imitated an infighter's stance for the first time in his career. Show him what real talent is, said K. He then said to himself to not overthink it and just need to keep pushing ahead as he practiced. As he was about to punch Yu, he suddenly got hit first, leaving the coach and audience shocked. Every time Yuto tries to get a hit in, Yu is much faster to land a hit. This was different, and something was weird. It was almost as if, there's no doubt about it, Yu was copying Yuto's movements to a T. Yuto spent his entire life mastering these movements, but Yu's doing them faster and with more precision. It was crystal clear, black and white. No matter how hard Yuto tries, he'll never be able to beat you. The crowd goes wild in excitement about what Yu is doing to the champion, as Yuto now his face in despair, losing all hope of winning this match. Yu continues to pummel on Yuto with a one-sided beatdown. Yu shows no mercy to Takeda as he shows him what real talent is. The first round is now over, and what a brutal first round for Takeda it was. His coach now yells at him to get a grip and that there's still something he can do against you. The second round now starts as Takeda has a plan to take on Yu, and that is to exchange blows with him like he always does and to remember who he really is. Throwing punches at the same time he's taking them. What incredible spirit and courage from the champion. But then suddenly Yu changed his stance once more, using the stance he used on Jean, looking like a monster ready to devour. Takeda suddenly got punched 3 times simultaneously. He then tried to defend himself as Yu's punches were too fast, but even with his effort he couldn't block Yu's punches as they were just too fast and heavy, making the champion fall on his knees and now down. Seen in the loud crowd, Yuto's childhood friend was there watching the fight, cheering for him. Everybody is cheering for the hero to get back again. Takeda stands up and raises his gloves, ready to fight again. But when he stood up in front of him, he was the ultimate contender. Takeda, still hanging on, tries to exchange blows with Yu even though the damage is accumulating, carelessly still rushing in because that's all he knows and trained for, was suddenly stopped by Yu and followed by a huge blow to the face once again. Now down for a second time, the coach now looks worried as he took a huge blow. Remembering why he wanted to get stronger, and as for who he was fighting for, remembering his parents and friends, having to prove that in the end, where there's a will, there's always a way. The crowd goes wild as Takeda stands back up again, always miraculously coming from behind and getting back up no matter how many times he's been down. Round after round the same thing keeps happening and Takeda still does not give up. Round 6 is the halfway point of the match. Takeda, now down once again, looks at his coach and remembers that he isn't alone when fighting, that there's a reason why he needs to become strong, to be able to protect the ones he loves. Stands back up again now with light in his eyes as you notices. It was the exact same light he was chasing for, the light he saw for the first time in his friend Jay when he was trying to fight for him. Everyone's now cheering for the champion as the round now starts. Takeda now surpassed his limits once again, now faster and stronger than before, going beyond everyone's expectations, even K's. His coach is now saying that Yuto entered this world without a speck of talent, but he climbed the ranks and became champion, and right here and now he's even acquired talent. That starting now his growth will be on a whole nother level. A monster has been born. But suddenly, as he was gaining momentum, everyone is in shock. Everybody was really quiet now as you beat the life out of Takeda, wanting to see more. What was that light that he saw? Takeda, bloodied all over, cornered in the ropes, and in Yu's mercy continues to get beat up like a punching bag. Let me see it, Yu yells. Coach K is now dying in laughter as Yu shows his true potential. Takeda's coach had no choice but to throw in the towel and surrender the match. They were going to need a stretcher after the damage Yu had done. Now Takeda is in a very bad condition as the coach sees. She turns around to Yu and says, "Were you trying to kill my boy?" Tried to slap him, but Coach K interfered, saying not to use violence on his boxer because this kind of thing happens in the ring all the time. She then left and said that the match wasn't boxing and that K is a monster. Among the spectators seen was the coach's former student Aaron, tied the heavyweight world champion, looking at you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be updated on our latest posts.